at the point when this kind of pandemonium drives it out into the infection-dim profundities of intergalactic space. Then again, planets could be expelled from their circles, bang into one another, or even impact their host stars due to these gravitational aggravations. When gas and buildup are compacted under very high strain, gravitational improving can truly make new superb bodies shape or perhaps start stars to emerge in our sunlight-based system. The late significant blast recommends that around for very some time earlier, there was a period of extended influences, including comets and space rocks. This flood essentially is acknowledged to have come about in light of appealing energy-disrupting impacts achieved by the external planets. During this fierce stage, gas-beast science like Jupiter and Saturn were going through movement disturbing the circles of different more unobtrusive bodies in the Kuiper Belt and space rock belt. As a result, these more humble things were thrown into impulsive ways, with numerous advancing into the internal close-by planet bunch. This dell provoked a critical rising in impacts on the terrestrial planets, including Earth. While these effects did exclude direct clashes between planets, they show how gravitational affiliations can bring about huge changes in the bearings of heavenly bodies. This blast is made sure to have played an indispensable work in embellishment the surfaces and geological stories of planets in our planetary gathering. Moreover, it may have added to the movement of water and regular materials to Earth, influencing the improvement of our planet over an extended period. As stars go through changes in mass, flows then bits of planets around them could wind and perhaps cross. This is especially recognizable in structures where stars are toward the end of their life cycle. As a star ages and consumes its nuclear fuel, it frequently goes through colossal mass changes, especially during stages like the red giant stage or when it releases material in a planetary cloud. These assortments in eminent mass can basically impact the gravitational equilibrium of the structure, causing the circles of adjoining planets to either move outward then again, turn out to be more pressed. This is more inclined to happen in multi-star systems where complex gravitational joint efforts can without a very remarkable stretch lead to fickle circles. In such systems, the gravitational forces from different stars can collaborate capriciously, powering orbital shift and growing the potential outcomes of circles joining. This can bring about conditions where planets could get flung out by another star, ram into other superb bodies, or even have chance out into interstellar space. Pluto's exceptional circle, at first perceived as an unquestionable person from the planetary family, went through a renaming. In the end, being doled out as a Pee-wee planet, inferable from its specific circle. The cosmology neighborhood region is at this point invigorated by it and finds it fascinating. Even with this change, there's excuse to be stressing out concerning the closeness of Pluto's bundle to Neptune's. As shown by later measures made by well-known specialists like Neil deGrasse Tyson and Michio Kaku, these specialists are sounding the caution about a grave risk to Earth, the credibility of a crash between the planets. Pluto isn't typical for another planet in our Make's planetary gathering, and its circle around the Sun, is so extraordinary. Pluto is far away from the Sun, of course, so the Sun is on numerous occasions fainter than it is here on Earth, so its frosty temperature's reduction to around minus 230 degrees Celsius. During the nighttime, in a force wave, you could get as high as 170 degrees Celsius. It has an astoundingly unstable environment, excessively welcome curious characters to an examination past the normal spaces of our planetary group. Imagine a situation where I let you in on that Pluto, the far-off enigmatic Pee-wee planet, is at long last making its gigantic move, perhaps colliding with, as a matter of fact, Neptune, the ice beast. Pluto's rebellious nature has been evident from the beginning, a rebel on the edges of our eminent region. Its circle strikingly experiencing another planet challenges the conventional guidelines of planetary transmit. I suggest that is no kind of direct for a planet. Right from the complex intricacies of Pluto's circle to the raised concerns voiced by astrophysical illuminators like Tyson and Kaku, a holding up request hangs in the huge balance. Will these wonderful Goliaths partake in an accident course? Could the gathering of their methodologies spell unexpected repercussions for our dearest planet Earth? Today we set out on a vainglorious trip loaded up with weakness. While the reactions to these sublime requests could dodge us right now, the potential for an accident of such huge degree fills in as a particular update that the universe is a stage for events both motivating and maybe terrifying. Accompany us as we jump into the secrets that circle our perception of Pluto and Neptune. thinking about the possible results of a heavenly struggle that could reshape the endless balance of our close-by-planet bunch. The stage is set, and the spreading-out show persuades us to observe the mysterious dance of the planets. Among other potential space disasters, the universe harbors an assortment of questions, and among them is the multi-layered puzzle known as the three-body issue. But researchers expect other anticipated disturbances inside the glorious theater. Yet a planet colliding with another in space is significantly implausible. It isn't actually out of the request. Gravitational interchanges, as portrayed by the three-body issue, are one of the powers that impact planet circles. An outline of a space structure where gravitational forces produce a discontinuous model known as orbital resonances is TRAPPIST-1, which has 7 planets the size of Earth. As time slips by, these models could incapacitate planet circles, working on the likelihood of accidents. What is happening rejects any accidents, regardless of the reality truth that systems, for instance TRAPPIST-1, are extremely dense, and planets impact one another's courses, especially when they are close. Scientists regularly monitor these structures to get a handle on this. With this information, we can almost certain grip how the planets travel through space. Another dark acknowledged part is nonconformist planets, which float imprudently in space as opposed to in a circle around a star. Expulsion of planets from star structures can occur as an outcome of gravitational shafts or other infinite quirks. For instance, another star's close by procedure or dynamic unsteadiness in systems with more than one planet. Over the long haul, these meandering planets can travel amazing eliminates, possibly in any event, showing up at regions quite far from where they started. It's possible they will run into other star systems on their execution journey. The likelihood of a planet influence increases on the off chance that one of these planets goes to another planetary gathering. In any case, a planet striking another planet head-on is entirely far-fetched, considering how gigantic and for the most part unfilled space is. The sparsity of planets in open space and the vastness of interstellar distances collaborate to hinder unremitting impacts. It is at this point incredibly unrealistic that 2 renegade planets will influence, yet the recurrence of dissident planets is far lower than that of stars. Additionally, and planets in stable circles, the star structures included can turn into wild in the event of a grandiose combination. It is significantly implausible that planets will influence head-on during these gigantic events, due to the gigantic interstellar distances. The circles of stars and planets inside emerging astronomical systems are adjusted definitively by regions of strength for the gravitational powers. A planet could transform into a radical world, freed from any star around shape. The mystery created with the affirmation that Pluto's circle crosses that of Neptune. The three-body issue. Pluto's circle stays stable in the middle of the intricacies, filling in as a showing of the inherent complexities of grand mechanics. Valuing the development and gravitational coordinated efforts of 3 incredible bodies like Pluto, Neptune, and the Sun is known as the three-body issue in space. Anticipating their directions from their starting positions and the effects of gravity on one another is near. For Pluto, a portion of the terms that help to settle this cosmic mystery are Asimov libration, scope libration, and the VZK faltering. According to astrophysicists, AIM libration is critical because it keeps planets in their circles. When Pluto crosses Neptune's circle, it is no less than 90 degrees distant, which is a critical distance that prevents influences. As shown by this definition applied to Pluto and Neptune, scope libration, implying the vertical improvement of a superb body in its circle, guarantees that at the point when Pluto approaches Neptune or other monster planets, it is arranged out and out over their orbital plane, giving an additional layer of protection against crashes. A critical component in it is the VZK faltering. Named after 3 researchers, Van Lee and Kai, they researched the gravitational joint efforts between 3 space objects. For instance, Pluto, Neptune, and the Sun, the VZK faltering gets a handle on why Pluto's circle around the Sun appears unprecedented yet remains smooth over the long run. Not enduring the clear abnormality in space, fundamental models and rules monitor everything. These elements in light of everything settle Pluto's circle for slowing down influences with Neptune or deviations from its course. The three-body issue helps us with understanding how the gravitational PS of these space objects influence their way. Taking into account this adds similarly as anybody is worried of Pluto, our planetary gathering, and distant brilliant bodies. Numerical reenactments in the last piece of the 1980s revealed that notwithstanding steady properties, Pluto's circle is truly tempestuous, with minor starting deviations inciting colossal differentiates more than great many years. Circle constancy. Regardless, Pluto's excellent circle shows striking constancy over wide periods, really directing anticipated commotion. Late virtual encounters have expanded our impression of the dispersed components, including huge planets like Neptune, Jupiter, and Saturn, affecting Pluto's immediate bearing around the Sun. Neptune's specific gravitational influence, completing 3 circles for each 2 of Pluto, basically adds to the overall of Pluto's orbital way. Jupiter's gravity is comparably critical, though less so than Saturn's. Taken as a whole, this huge number of perceptions show that Pluto is in secure and reliable development across space, more than billions of years. It is guaranteed by the joint effect of Jupiter, Saturn, and Neptune to keep the developments of heavenly bodies in the universe mentioned and obvious. These occasions are essential in the non-participation of these systems. The Sun-based structure would be more fierce. Furthermore, fanciful working on the likelihood of accidents and releases from by and large reliable courses, which might have broad consequences for other heavenly bodies. Considering later hypothesis with regard to an unavoidable effect among Pluto and Neptune, it is major to comprehend Pluto's circle. With this information, the ever-changing planet AR gathering may be better understood. The case of Pluto shows how the complex association between orbital mechanics and gravitational powers might make obviously shaky circles achieve equilibrium. To all the more readily understand our spot in the universe, it is critical to endlessly notice and examine these events. Space examination routinely uncovered the eccentric approach to acting of prominent bodies. Pluto's circle is the commendable framework of this unusual lead. The instance of Pluto gives a striking framework of the chance of orbital disarray, which shows how the bearing of a heavenly body is incredibly dependent upon its start stage. Minor changes in the Peewee planet's region or speed can massively influence its orbital way. Long-haul scientists' appreciation of Pluto's development in space is for the most part due to automatic encounters to reproduce the gravitational associations among Pluto and other planetary bodies like Neptune. These reenactments use erratic mathematical models. Stargazers can see how little changes can through impact Pluto's direction by controlling the models. These models revealed an enchanting piece of Pluto's heading in the last piece of the 1980s. The circle of Pluto can still be somewhat unconventional, regardless of the fact that it is settled by features like AIML and scope libration. When Pluto's situation or speed is somewhat off from the start, it can adjust its course essentially all through a couple of years. Indeed, even while Pluto is intrinsically wild, it stays stable for a very extended time frame, billions of years. This suggests that under its clearly capricious appearance, Pluto's outing around the Sun follows a coordinated solicitation, assuming huge events, especially with planets like Pluto, that have unpredictable circles is very trying. The inherent whimsical ISM of these structures makes long-haul figures uncertain. Numerical reenactments help us with understanding and anticipate the future ways of superb bodies, yet they similarly reveal the con points of our prelimits. These models seriously depend upon exact initial circumstances and at complex interchanges. For sure, even a little goof can incite basically different outcomes, making precise assumptions irksome. The wild nature of heavenly circles like Pluto assists us with recollecting the ever-changing universe. While we've made progress in understanding space, Pluto's case features are persistent confined data. Understanding the gravitational effects of beast planets on Pluto's circle gives significant insights into the greater components of the close-by planet bunch. It shows how each planet's presence and position can impact the reliability and bearing of various bodies in the system. Worries of a normal effect among Pluto and Neptune, while enrapturing, are generally outlandish. In light of our ongoing comprehension of divine mechanics, the stability of Pluto's circle, represented by complex gravitational relationship with other planets, ensures that such an event is incredibly implausible. The dance of heavenly bodies in our close-by planet bunch, including Pluto and Neptune, is represented by dispersed gravitational powers and orbital components. While the chance of an accident between these distant planets streaks interest and hypothesis, the significant stability of their circles, kept up with by the laws of physics, mitigates such concerns. Through persistent insight assessment and numerical amusements, specialists continue to expand how they may interpret Pluto's original trip through space, revealing insight into the more broad, privileged insights of our dynamic universe.